Hey folks, how y'all doing? It's John here from Media Blasters out in Fairfield, New Jersey. Just finally catching up with a lot of stuff here from August. As you know, August we had a lot of cons to a lot of things, which kind of made us fall behind on some things we really wanted to get done. But the good news is it looks like now that's behind us. So that's a great thing. And now we're able to start catching up with orders, with production, all those kind of wonderful things, and Anime NJ. So I wanted to do a quick video here just to give you guys some updates on some of the things going on. First and foremost is that we did wind up finally getting out. As you know, we did the Canacone, we did the special edition, the MB Storefront exclusive bundle, and we also did the bundle on Nurse Nanako. I'm really happy to report those two titles. Wow. I thought they were going to do pretty well, but we already sold out of the first runs on those titles. Now, we did do two editions. We did both standard edition and we did the exclusive. Literally in my hand is the last copy I have of what we made of the both editions, actually, for Nurse Nanako. On the Canacon side, I think I have like 4 or 5 copies left. So now we're in the process of replicating more. So there has to be, though, an end to this kind of the storefront edition. And what I decided to do based upon the items we have in these is basically based on the t-shirts. Right now, Canacon, we have so few t-shirts. I don't know, how many more we're going to be able to ship. Probably like 5 of them, and we don't have all the sizes anymore. Then as far as Nanako goes, we do have more shirts on that one. So I think once we get the new ones in, other than this one here, maybe another 10 or 20 of those. So that's really it. It doesn't make sense to do these bundles, make them exclusive, get you guys to buy them, and then they're available forever. It just doesn't really make much sense. We do have a ton of the posters of both of them because the replicator gave us a lot of extra. So what we'll do is at shows and whenever you buy something, we'll give you a Canacon poster, we'll give you a Nanako poster, no matter what you buy. So that'll be the thing we'll be doing on that. So that's a big update for us, and we're really happy about that. The other thing too is, as far as production goes right now, everything is focused on Kamen Rider, Kamen Rider, Kamen Rider. So what's happened is that the extras, like I've been saying in a bunch of videos, have been taking forever, but it looks like they're done. So everything is done now. The menus are done. Everything's done. My guy is coming in over the weekend to actually even get it, finished quicker. But I think by next week we'll have a burn. We'll make a burn here of it. And then what'll happen is we'll take a look at it. And if everything's okay, we make, the BDCMF and everything goes well and it's out to the replicators. Yes, the dyad, both the standard and the exclusive editions will be shipping. I expect in the next, my hope is in the next 3 to 30 days, I'm going to say, just to play it safe. And plenty of time for Anime NJ and a lot of the things we're doing. So that title will finally have its day. And we're very excited about that. Other titles we're working on right now is we've been working on Green Green. Green Green's been taking a long time because in Japan, again, anytime we do these kind of bundles, exclusives, we're trying to get more of the things, the character DVDs, we're getting stuff off of that. All these things take approvals because we're just noticing that if we would just take the stuff we have and just release it, it doesn't get the same thing. I think we are being selective about the titles that we pick to do these special things with, and I do think Green Green did pretty well for us in the day, and we do like the title. I think it's funny. So it'll have all the extras, the character DVDs. It'll have all the other parts of it, that it had in the past. It'll have the English dub that we created. It'll have everything that's there. And it really looks pretty good on the Blu-ray, so you'll be able to check that out. So that now, finally today I got another email from Japan that the publisher says, yes, we can use these things, we can do these things. So that'll be happening on the Green Green. Another one from the past that we use, it's one of our actual productions. It was actually the first production, was Det Trans. People don't realize, but Det Trans was actually one of our best-selling titles as far as our own production goes. It actually outdid Machine Girl and Tokyo Gore Police. In the day, there was Versus. Everyone loved Versus. This was from, like, had the same, some of the same feeling, a lot of the same action. It was done more as a fantasy piece as opposed to, it was more of a horror piece, was Versus. So, but Dead Trance will be a whole new 4K. We finally do have a 4K on it. We are going to be releasing that. The title has been kind of dormant because we did the Blu-ray so many years ago, had all the extras. It wasn't a lot we could do to get another release out of it. But now that we have a 4K, that is coming down the pike, and we'll be doing something with that. The other thing, too, is that I know everybody wants to know our adult. So we are doing more adult. Most of the adult titles we're getting now are older reissue titles of MB Past, and some old titles from, from some other publishers, so that are no longer around. So what we're doing is we are basically taking care of those. Just keep in mind that given now the environment that's going on with all the adult material, and we're kind of now not slowing down, but we're not really going as aggressive. We're finding basically doing these kind of special releases and releasing an adult title here and there, and maybe some other stuff has been pretty good for us doing, that kind of thing. We're not going to be like the constant factory that keeps churning these things out. We really don't even have the time. Remember, still a small shop here, but we will get you out more adult stuff. As you know, they've changed all these. You probably saw the announcement of San Japan and what happened with J-List, and then you hear about what happened with the laws in Texas. Things are going to get, and Kineticon, they also, I believe, changed their rules, and so did Otakon. I mean, cons are kind of important, but not really. More, it's about once they change these laws on, on more of a state-by-state level, that's going to become more difficult. And I don't, we really... The adult stuff is something we do. It's not something, we have a passion for, I would say, but it's just something we do because it does feed the machine. And what I'd like to do is, continue with these other kind of releases. I've been amazed at how well Kanekon did, how well Nurse Nanako did. Kamen Rider, the first trilogy, did very well. These are all doing very well. I rather continue in the toku / other types of anime, but if we will still do the adult videos. Let's be honest then, folks, there's not a lot of new stuff being made in Japan because there's no market. You can't, the home video market in Japan was supporting a lot of that. Now the publishers, it's mostly done by guys or circles who like their stuff. They're making these little 15-minute videos or 10 minutes. It's just not the same anymore. There's just, in the end, if there's not a market for it, and it doesn't mean that people don't want to see it. Obviously, if you put it on the web, you'll get 1 billion views for free or whatever it is. But if you can't monetize it and you can't turn it into real cash, you can't make more. People need to get paid. This is not something that you could do as a hobby. It's something that really needs to be done as a job. And so if you want that kind of output of the past, where you had full stories, arcs, Bible Black, everyone talks about, but think about how many episodes. It was a full story based on a game, based on that. To do that kind of stuff, you need people working around the clock. Doujinshi is a little different. You could do that with circles. It's drawn, black and white, most of them. It's a very different type of medium. So you can do it without a lot of people. When it comes down to really creating videos, movies, animation, whatever that happens to be, it requires a lot. So that's why I'm saying is basically, folks, there's not a lot more being produced anyway. That's why most of the stuff we're doing is the older stuff, and that'll continue into the future. We'll see what happens. Otherwise, that's really it right now. Con-wise, there's not a lot of cons we're going to be doing until Anime NJ. Anime NJ, as you know, we did get Kia Tamamiya. That's been great. He's our guest of honor, and we do have Nadia, as our music act. She'll be doing a performance Saturday. Everyone usually asks the questions, programming, when can I go and sign with them? When can I go see them? Saturday. It's the easiest answer. If you're going to buy a ticket for one day, it's Saturday. That's when you'll have the music act. That's when you'll have the signatures. That's when you have everything. Saturday. If you have to pick one day. Otherwise, try to get a weekend pass, or if you don't really have the money, you don't do Sunday. You know, that's the kind of way to kind of like make sure you see everything. All right, guys. Otherwise, we're kind of, like I said, getting ready for Anime NJ, third year. We have things pretty much under control. We're pretty happy about it. But yes, I want to thank everyone again for all the support, and especially of this, Kanekon, everything. So, Kamen Rider, let's keep it going. Really want to keep giving you guys more of these special items. All right? You guys take care. Bye.